Welcome to Monday Night Comics for the first time in like 2 months at this point. And welcome to Comics with Dan. I'm really glad to be streaming again. It's been quite a while, but life gets pretty busy. And it's because I have to stream generally later. The difficulty in streaming after a long day can be a little challenging, but I am glad to be back, and I'm looking forward to talking about a whole bunch of different comics. So let's get into it. I'll pull up my screen here. No, not that one. One of these. I think they changed the ones that are available now because I'm not seeing the one I usually use, but that'll work. Okay. All right. So we have my list here, and here we go. Okay. So Captain America #6. So the last arc ended on issue #5, and it was sort of the resolution to what happened with the former Captain America, I'll call him the Desert Storm Captain America, Dave Colton, and it was a really good ending. I liked it a lot, and I do believe it left it open for Dave Colton to return. My guess, so I don't know if Dave Colton having the super soldier serum, if it I'm I'm happy to have Dave Colton added to the roster of characters for Captain America. Um, the Captain America #6. This takes place, it seems like, right after the events of um, One World Under Doom, and the the thing I really liked about this issue was that there was a lot of editor notes that referred to other series that were going on, and I'm all about that. Like, that's the one thing I feel like Marvel's really been missing out on, is a more cohesive story outside of the Ultimate Universe, right? Like, the Ultimate Universe overall narrative has been like pretty solid and concrete. Um, but the main universe has felt a little disjointed and just like a line of books that don't have anything to do with each other. But here it kind of feels like it makes sense. Um, and the one thing that I realized is that this is a prologue to some event called Armageddon, which I'm excited about now because this is the first time I'm hearing about it. So, crafted by industry superstar Chip Zdarsky, Armageddon will impact the entire Marvel universe, changing the face of Earth's mightiest heroes in a way not seen since Avengers Disassembled, the event that redefined the team for the 21st century. Groundwork for the event will be laid in upcoming storylines with Zdarsky and Valerio Schiti's Captain America, as well as recent developments in the Ultimate Universe, specifically Miles Morales returning home with origin boxes in Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion #5. So I'm gonna have to look into that. Um, that looks interesting. I didn't realize that they had that many, the Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion. But I do know that we have Wolverine Weapons of Armageddon. It's just a 3 issue mini series. That's strange. I'll have to look into that. Um, but then Armageddon comes out. It doesn't say when on the I think June 26th. Okay. So a summer event for Marvel should be interesting. We'll see how that goes. Um, yeah, so Captain America finally has me excited about the Marvel universe again, which is cool. Uh, we had Space Ghost #7, so that released a few weeks back, and introducing Antimatter Man. And um, let me see in the solicit it doesn't say who Antimatter Man is, but it's a pretty crazy twist. So um, that's the nice thing about this Space Ghost series is that it's somehow simultaneously good for readers that just want to pick up an issue and enjoy it, but also readers that have been reading it the whole time, right? And that happens perfectly in this particular issue, where there's bits and pieces that apply to longtime readers, because this it just came out last year or 2 years ago, and of Space Ghost, and also is good for people that just want to pick up a random issue. Now, that also being said, um, while David Pepos is really reaching back into the Space Ghost, roster for some of these characters, it does not give me the same vibe as like Transformers does, where they just throw somebody in front of you and you're supposed to be excited because you already know who they are and they show up. I'm more than okay with that happening on occasion, but when it happens like once an issue, it gets to be too much, right? And that's my kind of my beef with Transformers. But Space Ghost doesn't do that here. Um, yeah, this is. I mean, the narrative continues on this, foundation of a found family, and it's great. I'm loving it. It's really solid issue after issue, and actually, because I haven't talked with anyone in a while, Vampire Space Ghost issue #6. So if you're going to pick up an issue of Space Ghost, or like a recent one, this is. I mean, the cover should be enough to get you to pick it up. I mean, look at that thing, and yeah, it's every bit as good as the cover leads you to believe. So, Batman and Robin #29. This to me is like the the pinnacle of Batman books right now, right? And I like Matt Fraction's Batman. Uh I enjoyed the first volume of Tom Taylor's Detective Comics. But Phil Kennedy Johnson is writing just such a good story here, and has somehow managed to turn me into a Damian Wayne fan, um, which is crazy. I mean, Dick Grayson's still the one and only Robin, but the fact that he can make Damian Wayne a likable character and write a dynamic between the two of them, between Batman and Damian, it's perfect, right? And I actually even said in my review about this book, that this arc would just be, or not even this arc, but this run by Philip Kennedy Johnson would be the perfect like segue into Damian becoming Batman, just because of how like the relationship between Bruce and Damian is just so like education and nurturing focused that I mean like I really love the line that Bruce will say on several occasions in the series. He says, "Tell me what you see," right? Because he knows what he's looking for, but he's trying to get Damien to see things himself and to make these like deductions, right? And it's such a great dynamic that he has, and it's really just like a huge bummer that Philip Kennedy Johnson's going to be going exclusive to Marvel. I mean, like I like his Hulk, but I feel like we're going to be missing who I believe to be possibly one of the best Superman writers ever, and someone who's shaping up to be an excellent Batman writer as well. Um, it's just I hope that that exclusivity doesn't last long because I really want Philip Kennedy Johnson back on DC books. But yeah, Batman and Robin definitely a good one to pick up. Okay, so we had Batman and Robin, Final Boss number 2. So I'll have to go back and see which I'm pretty sure that this was an addition made to my pull list that I did it while I was streaming and just because the first cover looked cool. Um, I have to say, I'm not a huge fan. Uh, uh, you of but what I don't really love about this one is that he first of all, the numbers are strange to me that he's like getting paid like 500 bucks a fight and then he's about to get paid $2,000 for a fight and feels that because people are trying to take his money, his $2,000, that he needs to kill them. And he's like, "Well, they would kill me over this $2,000, so I need to get them first." And that logic makes no sense to me, right? And not that there's a dollar amount that it would make sense, but it certainly doesn't make sense for $2,000. That seems like a high risk, low reward action, right? Um, and I think that it could end up being fairly cool because, like in this issue, in this second issue, um, they go off to this island that his grandfather originally discovered, and they're going to be in some fighting tournament. Um, but I just don't know. I think that I think that issue 3 is really going to be able to tell if the series is going to be worth continuing or not. Just because if we get a really cool like roster of characters like Mortal Kombat esque that are in this tournament, then I think that that could make it worth it to continue the series. But if we don't get an exciting kind of set of characters here, then I think that this is probably going to fall off the pull list. The art is fantastic, and it's not like the dialogue's bad. It's just it's really not gripping me in the way that I had hoped it would. So, so those are like the more recent ones that I read. Oh, there's a few other ones over here that are recent, but um, I read this Exo Manowar Volume One. Now I got this from my library had local library had a book sale, and I ended up getting some like trade paperbacks for like 50 cents each. It was crazy. And this was one of them that they had. I honestly probably grabbed most, if not all, of the comics that they had available. And because I had never heard, well, I'd heard a lot about Exo Manowar, but I never tried it out. And so in this, it's really cool because he is a Visigoth, and he's fighting like ancient Romans, and yeah, he lived his life under the heel of the Roman Empire, right? And then like these aliens invade, right? And he gets into this. I don't know if they. Okay, so this indestructible armor. Yeah, so he gets this armor and then comes back to like present day, right? And so that's kind of where this ends. It's very much set up, but it it wasn't amazing, but it was good enough that I want to I want to check out the next volume if I can get my hands on it. So like that's definitely worth checking out in my opinion, if you can find a way to read it. Oh yeah, so like the Eric of Dacia, and like the aliens are called Vine. So yeah, it was good. It was good. Just four quick issues. Um, and so like this was a revival of this series. I believe it was originally like um like a 90s series. Uh, but I'll have to go back and check out the original run. And I haven't read that yet, but I think that based on how the 2012 one was, it was pretty good. So I have this on my list because I was a little late. I normally try to read this around Batman: The Long Halloween around Halloween, but I didn't get around to it this year, and finally decided that I needed to read it. So I read that recently, and it, I mean, every bit as good as it was the first time, the second time, the third time I read it. It's just so good. And then on top of that, something exciting is that it's been confirmed that Sebastian Stan is going to be Harvey Dent in the Batman 2, and that Scarlett Johansson is going to be Gilda Dent. And um, I guess the one thing I'm not sure about though is that Catwoman obviously plays such a big role in this book, and yet Zoe Kravitz is, I'm pretty sure, confirmed not to be in the movie. So I don't know how they'll plan on capturing that, because like Joker plays a fairly big part in this movie as well, or in this movie, in this book as well. And Barry Keoghan, or however you say his name, he's going to be the Joker in this. So in the Batman Part Two. So uh, I don't know. I mean, maybe they aren't going to go a one for one Long Halloween adaptation, but maybe they'll just borrow pieces from it. The Part One was very inspired by the Long Halloween. It was very obvious that it was. Um, so we'll see how that turns out. And obviously, like if you haven't read the Long Halloween yet, put that at the top of your list. It's my favorite comic ever. Um, so DCKO has been awesome, and part of the reason that I feel I've enjoyed it so much is that I have pulled um, a lot of the tie-ins, right? And part of the reason is that this past month, or the month prior, right? I guess December was a they called it All Fight Month, I think. And so like a big portion of the event took place in these individual books that these fights happened. And I think I pulled all of them except for the Zatanna and Harley Quinn one. And it was, I'm glad that I did it. I felt that when I read Dark Crisis, I didn't feel like I needed the tie-ins all that much, although I would like to go back and read the World Without a Justice League issues. But then when I read Absolute Power, I was completely lost, and I was really excited because Absolute Power number 1 was an awesome issue, and then it felt like, and I, to be honest, I got this from somebody on the League of Comic Geeks, that it felt like the main Absolute Power books were just everyone reacting to what was happening in the tie-ins. And it's a perfect way to put it because that's exactly what it felt like. And if you didn't read the tie-ins, then you had no idea what was happening. So I think that, and like, I don't know, like here, I know that like League of Comic Geeks isn't the like the authority here, right? But if we were to say, um, like how many of these are marked as tie-ins versus core issues, right? And so like that's where I think this is a little tricky, right? Because you look at like DCKO as a core issue, and then all of these limited Nightfall core issue, Night Fight, and so like DCK, that's a reason to down in rating. But because I did read, I mean, pretty much all of these tie-ins. I didn't read Harley Quinn and Zatanna. I didn't read The Flash. I didn't read Titans 29, but I did read Titans 30 or 28 maybe. No, 29. And so I've read a majority of these, and so like I'm able to piece together the things that I miss. But if you read DCKO number 2 and then number 3, it's going to feel like you missed an issue. So, um, but truthfully, well, one of the best events I've read to this point. I mean, and Night Fight, they they've found a way. Batman's not a prevalent player in the main um, in the main event, because for those of us, those of you not reading it, he essentially falls out of the tournament early on, and then he gets shifted over to this Night Fight book where he has to fight all of his Robins grown up as Batman, and Josh Williamson is like crushing it on this one. Like I'm loving it. He he's crushing it here. He's crushing it on GI Joe. Um, I mean, on Superman. Like truthfully, he's doing his best writing right now. Um, and I'm here for it because I'm pulling most of the books. So now this book, um, it really felt like this is World's Finest number 46. And I just got 47, so I'm pretty excited that I can check that out. But this really felt like a return to form for this book because like I mean we're 46, 47 issues in, and like I know that people have been I guess less than pleased regarding the quality of the book, although I've really been enjoying it a lot. So uh, um I feel like my internet's having a rough time. Because I mean look at that cover, right? We get the Batman Superman fusion against the Lex Luthor Joker fusion, which is going to be awesome. That's a great cover. All these covers are great. Who are we kidding? Um, yeah, no, I mean Yeah, it's just like whenever I read a book and it just like leaves me like just excited that I'm reading it like while I'm reading it and I'm just thinking to myself like, man, this is awesome. That's how I know I'm going to rate it 5 stars. So here we have the conclusion of the Dreadnought War, which I really liked. And like the end of this, it says the last page twist that will change GI Joe forever in the Energon universe. They're not kidding, right? Um, I was a little concerned about having to pick up double shipped uh, GI Joe, twice a month at the same price as the monthly. But Tom Riley coming back, Josh Williamson at the peak of his powers, and the just the quality of this storyline has been great. And like the fact that like I feel like when you do a like a team up between a hero and a villain, it's just you almost expect there to be like, oh, like we'll find some common ground here, and like that's how this is going to end. It's not. Like if you think that Duke and Cobra Commander are going to find common ground at the end of this, you're out of your mind. Which I love because Cobra Commander would never, right? I mean, he's just ruthless. I love like the Cobra Commander, Destro, like Dreadnoks, like all the backstabbing that goes on in this book in this series is just like it's fantastic. Like the type of dysfunction that they show. Like both teams are dysfunctional, right? The Joes are dysfunctional and the like Cobra is dysfunctional, but for different reasons, right? The 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 Joes are dysfunctional because of like personality clashes and essentially like trauma, right? That has happened to them in the past that they can't feel like they can trust anybody but themselves. But then the like Cobra is dysfunctional because everyone's grabbing for power. Everyone, right? And everyone thinks they're the main character. And it's awesome. Um, I mean, like it truthfully, like and in the one letters page for this book, they describe the Dreadnoks as techno hillbillies, which I mean, is there a better description than techno hillbillies? What makes you want to read a comic more than saying, "Hey, let's check out these techno hillbillies," right? And so, not to give away too much about what happens at the end of this one, um, but I recommend going and reading this. I'm interested to see. Let me see if I can pinpoint it here. Uh, no, a lot of reviews though, and I'm glad. I'm glad that it's being well received. It's getting, it's getting a lot of pulls and volume. Yeah, so volume 3 Dreadnought War, and it's got all the double shipped issues. Oh, and it's going to collect the one of these Night Force standalone Night Force covert op. I think it's a cool way to do this, right? They they do these big arcs and or sometimes smaller ones, and then they take one of the Night Force standalone stories and like set it in there, like take a breather, and then we move on to the next thing, right? So I do like that. Um, yeah, I mean, let me see what the overall. I don't see anything that shows the overall like rating on this. And then, but if you look at these, I don't see anybody that has anything bad to say about this. I saw a 3.5 there. Most of these are 4, 4.5, 5, which is awesome. I mean, what a book. And I'm like I'm not even a GI Joe guy, right? Like I didn't have GI Joes growing up. I remember my uncle got me a Max Steel, right? Let me see if I can find a Max Steel. Max Steel action figure. It definitely wasn't something big that we played with a lot. And yeah, so the fact that this book's able to just capture my attention so much says something because it's not solely pulling nostalgia. Now, again, I can tell in this book that Williamson is definitely like throwing characters out there and saying like, "Hey, like look who this is. Like, are you surprised to see this person?" And like to me, he does it in a way that I still care even if I don't know who the person is, right? Which is good. So I talked about the Night Force standalone covert op, and I talked about Final Boss 3, like an underground fighting league, right? And so I'm hoping that we get some cool characters that Tommy's going to fight. Um, but truthfully, there's a possibility that that's going to be the last issue of that I pull. The pull is just getting too big for mediocre books, to be honest. Um, Justice League Red. So this is the last issue of this one. Um, I have such mixed feelings about this because I'm really liking it, and I think that the story is such a good idea to have like so in DC right now, the Justice League has open membership to like everyone, and they're essentially using a like bodiless red tornado as a like an AI like manager of the Justice League, right? And so he is like managing everything, but like off to the side here in Justice League Red, he is he is like losing it. He is like forgetting his humanity. He is like forgetting what it's like to be a human. He is like running all these scenarios and like models to try to figure out where the threats are and like way overdoing it and like not considering the reliability of those models and is just like, yeah, this person needs to be taken out. And so then he sends this group on these missions to do things that look terrible, like the optics are awful. And but he's like, oh, but I have a model that says that if you didn't do this, then this would happen. And they kind of have to trust him, and it's clear that they shouldn't have, right? So now, why am I saying I have mixed feelings? Because I really wish that this had been thrust into the mainline books, not even like in the mainline books, but have this have an impact on the others. Because the the other thing is that he's telling these heroes is that like, yeah, every scenario I ran that we contacted like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, uh, um, didn't go well. Like everything went, everything went, at least what I read of it. And I think he's doing a great job here. This is the last issue of this one, so while I'm really enjoying it, I'm glad to have something fall off my pull list for once instead of adding it. Um, Justice League Unlimited, it's another DC KO tie-in. Not a lot to say about that. The Terrific 10 or these time displaced heroes that basically like they're going to evaporate anyway, so they're disposable. Um, they're in hell, right? Which I'm always like just a little hesitant because it does oftentimes feel like um when comics use hell as a location that they're kind of saying like look at this scary fictional place that I personally believe is a very real place. um so it's just it's just always a little strange to see that. Now I can appreciate the fact that they're presenting it as something bad and not something good, because that would be much worse. But yeah, no, this one's not too bad. This is certainly not a required tie-in for DCKO, and in fact has very little to do with what's going on with DCKO. But I happen to be pulling the book anyway, so it's there. Um, Skin Breaker, I'm behind on because I still think I haven't gotten to issue number 2. Which is frustrating because I'm really liking the book. I really like the first issue rather. And I'd like to read more of it, but uh my shop has not gotten in issue number 2. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. But I really loved issue number 1. Superman 34 um coming up. Uh So this is something that feels very directly linked into DCKO. It's written by um it's written by Williamson. And let's look at the preview. I mean, I like the interiors. I saw a comment that said, let's let Dan Moore draw the interiors, but this is good. Like I like this. Yeah. Oh, I forgot that we have oh, what's his name? Superboy Prime in this. Oh, and all the robots. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, this this one's a little more linked to what's going on in, in DCKO. Much more. Okay, so here's our list again, and so we have Void Rivals. So I read part 1 of the Quintesson War pretty recently, and um, it's nice because it feels, I don't want to say it feels like a reset, but it's almost a it feels like a new start from the like the arc that was going on before that was a very long slow burn. But it's like I'm just really enjoying it. Like I like the creativity that Kirkman shows, and I like um how much this book doesn't rely on like look at this character that you've been expecting to show up type of thing. Um but yeah, I'm liking Void Rivals a lot. I know a lot of people feel like it's slowed down. This I saw when I was getting ready for this stream tonight. I was like, holy smokes, I need this more than anything. The Muppets Noir. All right. It was a dark and froggy evening. So it looks like Kermit is, yeah, so in an attempt to de-stress, he settles down to read a few pages of a favorite old detective novel, and he gets KO'd by an errant brick to the bean, leaving him laid out backstage as his co-stars tried to coax him back to consciousness. But as he's knocked out, he turns into this private investigator, Flip Minnow, PI. This is going to be incredible. This is on Final Order Cutoff tonight. So add this to your pull list. If you take nothing away from this stream, add, add the Muppets Noir, about 100 covers, and they're all gonna be awesome because everything Muppets is awesome. So, that might be my I mean, it's January 26th, and we might have found my most anticipated book of the year. Um, so Nightwing, I believe if I recall, I don't know if I don't think I read the I don't think I read 134 y oh, no, I didn't read 134 yet because it didn't come out. Um, I think I just read 133. Mm, no, I did not read that yet. Um, so I do need to get back to that. I'm a little, uh, off track with Nightwing. Same with Superman Unlimited, but this has been that's the other thing about Superman Unlimited is it's another one where you can pick up any issue and start it, right? So final order cutoff for this is I believe either tonight or next week. Um, and so yeah, so it's tonight. This looks like it's a part two, so you might want to grab issue number 9 as well. Um, we've got X-Men United number 1. I can't say that I'm 100% sure I'll grab this or not. Um, final order cut off is tonight. It's interesting because I don't think I have the wallet or the stomach to get into X-Men books. Probably ever, but definitely not right now. Um, Batman number 7. I have this here simply because I'm really enjoying Matt Fraction's run. 29,000 pulls. That's wild. Um, and yeah, so I mean, I'm enjoying it. You know, what better place to start than here? I'm excited about this one. Um, these Disney villains series have been I haven't checked any of them out. Um, but I also just noticed that this is by Greg Pak. Final order cutoff is next week, but this is Gaston. It says at last a series worthy of the name Gaston. So the unfairly maligned antagonist of Beauty and the Beast will be the first to tell you that he's the greatest tracker in the land, a fact that has been confirmed by his totally unbiased sidekick LeFou. And who would know better than these two fine, upstanding citizens? Yeah, so I am excited to read Gaston. I might need to trade weight it though, just because my list is getting too long. The one thing I wanted to throw out here is that Stones are writing it, which is a really cool combo because well, I think Wiseman's the original creator of Gargoyles, and I know Tad Stones is the original Darkwing Duck creator. Um, so that's cool. Justice League Unlimited, we got that one on final order cutoff next week. Sonic the Hedgehog number 85. We've got Sage is showing up on. Oh man, that's a great cover. We got Sage showing up. Sage is from Sonic Frontiers, and I guess is like an uh, some kind of digital creation by Robotnik. I haven't finished Sonic Frontiers to be honest, um, but I'm excited to see the direction that Ian Flynn takes the series heading up to issue 100. Because it's, I mean, I just hope that it's just like I mean, to be honest, the anniversary issues of Sonic the Hedgehog have been really incredible, right? I mean, 50 is genuinely one of the best comics I've ever read, and 75 was nothing to shake a stick at either. Um, so 85's final order cutoff is next week, and then we've got Superman, and so it looks like this is still a tie-in. This issue's the end of this issue sets up the end of DCKO, but also a massive status quo changes for Superman, which is interesting. Um, Joshua, this is the third time you've shown a massive status quo change for Superman to the class. Oh man. Um, so yeah, I mean, if you don't throw this one on the pull list, then which I do feel that this series has been extremely important to DCKO because it's a very Superman centered event. Um, the if you don't throw that one on your pull list, then you can start at the next one. But yeah, so that's everything that I have, and yeah, so it's been it's been good getting back and checking out things that are coming out, and something else to keep an eye out for. And I'll try to put like um a list together for on League of Comic Geeks to see the different books that are going to be coming out and when the final order cutoff is. I know a couple are, I believe, either tonight or next week, so make sure you kind of snoop around a bit. But the DC Vertigo revival is back, right? And that's coming in the next several months, and there's a lot of new titles coming out. Um, I'm personally a big fan of the Vertigo Human Target. Was one of the earlier comics that I read, so um, I'll certainly be looking into some of the Vertigo titles, whether it's the single issues or trades. But yeah, so that's everything that I have tonight, and I appreciate everyone watching. And make sure you like the video, that you subscribe to the channel. It helps kind of spread the word around. Check out all the different socials that I'm on. I believe I have all the links in my YouTube channel. And have a great evening. Thanks, everyone.